Hi everybody, this is Darrell Lonnie with the head women's basketball coach at Western Oregon, Greg Bruce. Let's talk about the good stuff first. Your first road game, you started with 3 home games in the season, so you go on the road to Ellensburg on Saturday night, you play at Central Washington. You win the game by a big margin, and I know a lot of good things came about that night for you, huh, Coach?
It was a good win, Darrell, as you said, on the road, especially our first GNAC game there. And first half was a little dicey. We didn't play well offensively, didn't have any rhythm, didn't make any shots, missed a lot of easy ones, but our defense and rebounding kept us in it for a change. Second half, we came out and shot the ball really well, one of our better, I think Danny said it was our highest scoring second half of the season, 43 points. Several players contributed, we made a lot of threes. Sarah Zoller kept her going. You know, she was pretty good against Western Washington from the 3 and kept that going right away. And it's nice when you can score points. Like I always said, shooting covers up a multitude of sins you can make other places on the floor.
I know you're happy about Jamie Richardson has very good numbers in this game. Lori Clifford's coming on. Your freshmen are coming on, aren't they?
They really are. You know, Hannah Whitsitt might be struggling just a little bit right now. It'd be nice if we can get everybody on the same page, but as you know, in sports that rarely happens. But we're working on it. But yeah, Richardson played really well. Clifford is continually getting better. I think she had 19 points last week and 10 rebounds. So we're happy in that regard.
You're playing 4 in a row on the road, so in this stretch of time, so it's really good, and maybe even more important to win that first game, isn't it? Just if nothing else, from a mental or a confidence standpoint.
Exactly. Actually, it's 5 in a row on the road.
No. Worse.
Especially coming off the Western Washington game. You know, didn't know exactly mentally where we would be, but the girls' focus, we put it behind us in the locker room, and I told them, you know, you can't let this game determine what happens on Saturday, and they were mature enough to come out and have a good practice on Friday, which took us into our effort on Saturday.
Let's look ahead. We're covering a lot of ground this morning. Anchorage and Fairbanks. You start at Fairbanks, move over to Anchorage on Saturday. Give us a review of these two teams and how they're doing and what you're going to be looking at.
Well, you got the both ends of the spectrum there. Fairbanks has struggled this year. They have a new coach. Last year, I believe they had 8 girls that had ACL surgeries. They had a lot of trouble even fielding a team last year. This gentleman was hired late in the hiring process, came in, didn't have a lot of time to recruit, so I don't think he has the team put together that he will eventually have once he's been there for a couple of years. They are pretty talented offensively. They have a girl Division I transfer from Kent State by the last name of Levi. She's a power forward. She had a double-double last week against Billings. Number 3, gosh darn, I'll have a hard, Edwards. She played last year, really good rebounder. Power player. Their center, number 11, Harrison, is one of the girls that was hurt last year. She's a D1 transfer from Nevada Reno. They play a lot of 2-3 zone, and as you know against zones, Darrell, you got to be able to shoot it a little bit, and sometimes that's a problem with us. So we've got to prepare for Fairbanks, forget all about Anchorage, because we know what the strength of their program is, and look forward to that first game first.
And they have a nice team, don't they, Anchorage?
Oh, Anchorage is really good, as always. They lead the nation, I believe, in field or points allowed defensively. I've always been one of the stronger teams. I've been to the Final Four the last 2 years nationally, excuse me. Really well coached. They run them in waves, actually. They got like 8 or 9 or 10 or 12 players they play that all can contribute.
Then the following week, back on the road again, and Western Washington.
Just get to go to Bellingham.
Oh, and they're really tough. You've seen them before. I was so impressed with their team.
Yeah, they're really good, Darrell. They're experienced. They've got a lot of talent offensively. They're well coached. They play hard, which they didn't always do. Their defense is much better than it has been, and they're a real force to be reckoned with.
And one of the best teams in the league, obviously.
Oh, I was one of the 2 people who picked them to win the league early before the preseason poll, because I think talent-wise they have the best talent.
Let me back up a second to the Anchorage Fairbanks trip. Obviously, that's a physically draining trip because it's so long. You got to go to Portland, and it takes a long time to get there. Very different climatic conditions, etc. Is there anything, you've made the trip now a number of times, is there anything you do to try to make it a little bit easier on your team to get through this thing?
Well, I don't know if there is any. We just try to keep everything as normal as possible. The long plane ride does you in a little bit. It's really bad coming back with a red eye overnight on Saturday night, but we just try to keep things as normal as possible. Lori Clifford being from Eagle River, Alaska, which is just outside of Anchorage, She's going to have the girls, the team over for spaghetti dinner Friday before we play them. That stuff always helps, you know, when you're on the road and you get
Sure.
to go to somebody's house and just get a home cooked meal and meet parents that we haven't seen before. So we're excited about that.
And then she can round up some rooting support for you, right?
I would hope so. Yeah, I'm sure she'll have a lot of people there. She's really a good kid, and you know, it's always hard going home the first time and playing. You know, she had a great high school background. They won the state championship. She was MVP of the tournament, so I'm sure she's very excited.
It's a long ways down the road, but I want to plug the fact that your next home game will be February 6th. It'll be a doubleheader with the men, and we hope everybody will come out and support your team at that time. I have one more question for you today, and we'll pick this up later in the season. But recruiting, do you have any time to recruit now during? I mean, you're so busy. Do you get on? How do you do it? Do you get on the phone with people? Do you get any film sent in to you, or what's that situation,
Well,
Coach?
recruiting is an ongoing thing. You have to. I mean, it's a year-round process, and we're continually evaluating DVDs and videos from recruits. Get 5, 6, 7 emails a day about kids interested in the program. So we're trying to follow up and answer them. Try to go out and see as many local games as we can, and watch the DVDs and get back to kids and just keep talking to them.
You need more time. You need 28 hours instead of 24. Then you could
Exactly.
use another member on that staff too.
We could use a full-time assistant, but the people we have, including Kyle, is doing a good job. It's just, they have a lot of things they have to do with schoolwork and stuff, so it kind of falls back on the head coach, and that's why they pay me the big bucks, Daryl.
There you go. Very good. Head coach of the women's basketball team. They're doing very well. They could use your support. That's Coach Greg Bruce. This is Daryl Lonnie.